Welcome to Health Coach for Women, a podcast where we explore alternative and holistic solutions to better health and wellness through intentional living. Now, here's your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Health Coach for Women, a podcast where we explore alternative and holistic solutions for better health and wellness. And I am your host, Marsha. Today, I will be talking about an interesting topic today on materialism. All right, so why materialism can't buy happiness. Are you materialistic? Do you value material things? That's what we'll be talking about today. While materialism can't buy happiness, the spiritual toll of chasing wealth. All right, but before we get started, I'd like for you to go ahead and hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And of course, I always have a quote that's related to today's topic. All right. Materialism is the only form of distraction from true bliss by Douglas Horton. Don't know who he is, but I enjoy that quote. All right, let's dive right on in. What exactly is materialism? I guess I'm sure you can probably figure it out, but I'm going to tell you that what materialism is, and according to its definition. All right, it's a tendency to consider material possessions and physical comfort as more important than spiritual values. Is that true? For some people, is that true for yourself? All right. If so, we're going to talk about that and why it can take a toll on your spiritual wellness, right? And it can impact your spiritual health. All right. So let's go right in and let's talk about that. How many of you value materialism? How many of you value material things? And you see this today, right? How prevalent it is in today's modern society. On social media, right? On social media, you're always seeing the people, either they're showing, maybe, I don't know, their cars and houses or even clothes, right? Fashion. You see that a lot with fashion, right? Looking a certain way, right? This perception of looking a certain way, right? A certain size, a certain figure, a certain body type, right? So that can also be a form of materialism as well, right? There's so many different examples of materialism, right? Whether, like I said, possessions of cars, homes, clothing, shoes, bags, whatever, right? Social status, right? Maybe your social status, or maybe you're belonging to a certain club. Maybe it's being with a certain clique. It could be, materialism could be in different forms and different ways, right? But how you see this often, right? Also in advertising. You see this a lot in advertising, where, maybe they're advertising an alcoholic beverage, right? Or if you drink this brand of cognac, whatever, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. I don't drink, so I don't know these brands. If you drink this brand of gin, right? This brand of gin, is of the higher class of beverages that you can, in the commercial, they're dining with the elites or whatever, right? You see how materialism is portrayed in media and advertising. Also, what about certain shows? What about certain TV shows, right? There's so many different ones where they portray a person's worth, right, due to their material. A person's worth is connected to their personal values, right? Having the money, the cars, the ladies, the men, whatever, right? It's connected somehow. That luxury or that success of wealth defines your worth, right? And so, can the pursuit of happiness can a pursuit of happiness really be found through material things? That's a question I like to ask. Do you think the pursuit of happiness can be found through material goods? What are your thoughts on that? Some people may say yes. Some people may say yes. And some may say no, right? It really is depend on where your mindset is and the things and what you value. What do you hold value? What do you value to be most dear to you, right? Is it money? Is it family? Is it spirit? Is it health? Is it spiritual uh wellness? Is it your faith? What are the things you hold dear to you? What is the most valuable to you? That will determine your answer and your beliefs, right? So common beliefs about materialism, possessions, and happiness are some of those things, what I just covered. So culture can also play a part, right? Culture can also play a part. Various cultures have different, maybe owning land or owning certain animals equates to, or a certain number of animals equates to wealth, or land, or homes, certain neighborhoods, right? Certain particular neighborhoods, like in California, it's very expensive, as well as New York, all right? Certain areas are very expensive. Homes are in the 1 millions and up, right? So your neighborhood, where you live, right? So depending on where you are, people can equate that with success, or they can equate that to happiness, right? But there can be a temporary high with material possessions. Now, don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong. It's okay to like nice things. I myself like nice things, right? I like nice things. There's nothing wrong with that. So when I'm saying this, when I'm discussing this topic, I'm not saying that that you shouldn't have nice things, or you shouldn't have a goal to maybe want to live in a certain neighborhood or something like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is how important is materialism for you? How does the form of materialism, how does it buy you? Does it truly buy you happiness? Right? And what's the impact of chasing that materialism at the expense of your spiritual health, right? All right, so that's what I'm talking about. So I was talking about the temporary high of material possessions, right? I mean, you've seen it so many times. Artists, athletes, actors, rappers, singers, performers, whatever, that many times, or even regular everyday people, where they have plenty of material things that will define them as maybe very, very well off, right? And maybe even wealthy, where they have it all. And you can look at a person's life and look from the outside, it may look like they have it all, but you really don't know what that person is going through and what they did to acquire that wealth, right? It could have came with a lot of hard work. It could have also came with some other things, right? We don't know, right? But what is the cost of that? We've seen people who has acquired many things, right? Materialistically. But yet they were still unhappy. Yet they were missing things. Yet they still battle with depression. Yet they still battle with anxiety, right? Yet they're still battling with drug addiction, right? Because something is missing. Something is missing apart from all of the cars, all of the houses, all of the parties and the yachts and whatever, and the fancy clothes and all of that stuff. Something is missing. There's an absence of something that is missing, right? And there's some inner fulfillment, right? Which spirituality, which only I believe, I think spirituality can only give you that, right? Spirituality can give you that. All right. And I want to talk about spirituality and inner fulfillment, right? What moves your soul? What moves your spirit? What gives you inner joy, inner peace, inner fulfillment, um, inner, right? That's the key word, inner, not outer. What gives you inner peace, inner fulfillment, right? Where are you most vulnerable, at peace, calm? What is it for you, right? So this is what I'm talking about, because we all know that materialism, material goods don't bring lasting happiness, right? Materialism does not bring lasting happiness. Okay. And so the contrast between material wealth and spiritual wealth are greatly different. They both can bring some type of satisfaction, right? Um, one can give you more of an lasting, fulfilling peace than materialism. For some people, now that may not be true. So I can't say this is true for everyone, right? For some people, this may not be the case. All right. So I want to talk about that. Why are some people, and you even see it on media, and there's so many young adults and even people who are a little older, why they experience a bunch of anxiety and depression and body imaging, and dealing with body image and trying to look uh, with the perfect image, the perfect face, the perfect body, the perfect lips, the perfect everything, right? Because we do this, right? Maybe not for us older folks, right? More mature folks, I should say, like myself. But maybe we're looking on social media. We're looking at, oh, what this one have, what this one, oh, this person has this person has, wow, she has it all. Wow, he has it all, right? Well, we don't know. We don't really know. And a lot of the things that we see is really just an illusion, right? Even with the makeup and things that we see on here, they have these filters, right? And you can, with the filters, they're pretty good actually, right? And we go by this, what we see, right? Again, media, advertisers, social media, right? The perception of what wealth is supposed to be, just the perception of what um, uh, a society says that you should be, right? Rather than being who you want to be, right? And following and not following other people's trends or in ideals, right? Not following other people's trends and ideals on what they feel success is, because success is different for each and every one of us, right? Success can be different for every one of us, right? Um, so what materialism does, it can pull you away from your true core. It can pull you away from your true essence, right? If you are not aware. And and I want to talk about that because so many people, I don't want to say so many people, but people, right? A lot of people in general have lost their spirituality, have lost their spirituality because the chase for materialism, right? In this Western society, we know that success is based on materialism of how much land you own, how much your net worth is, right? Determined by your net worth. What do you own? What are your assets? What are you worth, right? Uh, all based on materialism, materialistic things, right? And we know and we see this in a lot, and I don't want to rule out any type of culture or people, right? So I'm going to refrain from that. But we know that, you know, some people define their worth by the type of clothing that they wear, the name brands, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong, that there's anything wrong with name brand clothing, right? I'm not saying that. If you can afford it and you're living within your means and you can afford it, then by all means, buy whatever you want, right? Buy whatever you want. That's not what I'm saying. So, but you know that some people will buy a pair of sneakers before they pay their rent, or you want to drive this certain car uh, before you build up your retirement account. I don't know. I'm just giving an example, right? So there needs to be a balance. Because what happens when we loses a culture of people that loses their spirituality, culture or people that loses their spirituality, right? I would say can be bought, right? Can be compromised, right? Can be bought, compromised, can lose their way, right? And that's not what we want, especially for the younger generation, especially for the younger generation coming up. You see this all the time that, these kids, they want to either be a rapper or an athlete. Why? Because of the status that it brings of, the image of having money and cars and females, right? Or the image of being a professional athlete, the prestige that it brings, right? And getting endorsements.
If you are struggling with health issues like chronic pain, being held back by past traumas, or feeling overwhelmed and hopeless, please know there is hope. There is help. Transcendence, a woman's guide to healing and self-love for better health, happiness, and abundance, is a blueprint to help you get your life back and reclaim your health. Within its pages, you'll learn how to elevate your existence by shifting your mindset toward the positive, focusing your energy on what's really important, using gratitude to feel deep appreciation, changing your gene expression through epigenetics, building resilience, and living in a state of flow, feeling love overflow within. Go beyond an ordinary life. Transcend. Buy it now.
So again, nothing wrong with that, but it's when we consumed by materialism, we can sometimes lose our way, right? And it's very important to have a strong sense of spirituality and being connected, right? Whatever that means for you, right? Because we want that inner fulfillment. And we equate happiness with outer fulfillment, with material things, rather than looking at on the inside for that inner joy, inner happiness, inner peace. That's why there's people out there that have money and yet they're still unhappy. They have everything they could want in life, but maybe they don't have the spouse that they desire. Maybe they don't have the partner they desire. Maybe they don't have that. Maybe they have that and it's only because of the things that they have why they have that. So it's different various reasons. Yet you have people who have well-known people who have taken their lives and they had money. They had money, they had everything, yet something was still missing. There was something that still was unfulfilled that they were coping with, and it was unfulfilled, and they couldn't shake it, they couldn't break it, right? Battling with depression, battling with mental health issues, right? We know that mental health issues is a big thing, right? And we see that more now, than ever. So many people are out there battling and struggling either through anxiety, depression, or body image, or just so many different things, right? And feeling unworthy, the unworthiness. They're battling a lot of different things where they're taking prescription drugs, to help them with their issues. But are we really getting to the source of our own spirit, the source of our own spirituality? Getting back to source, right? And I'm not here to preach religion to anyone. I'm not here to preach anything like that. I do believe in a higher power, and I have my faith, right? That's me. But what I'm saying is there has to be a strong sense of spirituality. And a lot of it, in the younger generation, I'm seeing a lot. They're losing their way because of the push of the materialism, the push of what society says, this is what your life should look like, right? This is what you should have. And I'll give you a story, and think I mentioned this before, when I worked the crisis unit before for some time, and I wanted to experience it. I wanted to see what I can do, how I can help, how can I make a difference, right? And so I did that short period of time. It was a little contract assignment that I took. Um, and I was speaking to the people, and one of the people that I spoke with, I spoke to different people. Oh boy, I had people who was in their 20s, under 30, saying that they knew they wasn't going to make it to their 25th birthday. They knew that they would eventually take their lives before their 25th birthday. I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand how someone so young with so much to look forward to, so much, and certain things I can't tell them, right? Certain things I could not tell them, because you're there as the person to listen, but you're not to give advice, right? Um, so you listen and you try to talk to them as far as like talking them down, as far as from harming themselves. And then if things went a little further and beyond, there was a protocol and procedure that we had to follow to make sure that we try to get them help and keep them on the phone. So, I just couldn't understand how they would want to, because they were so unhappy. And this particular person, they were actually going on a cruise. And sad to say, they missed their cruise. Like that moment that they were waiting for, they missed their cruise. So that person was so down, so depressed. And there were other examples as well. This person, male, he did say that he knew that he wouldn't live past his, like, I think 25th birthday or something like that. So I don't know what happened to that person. Hopefully he got the real professional help that he needed to help him through it, and there was another example, another young lady, successful business owner, owned a successful business. And she committed to, even when I think she sold the business, but she committed to stay on. And she said how she had pretty much everything. She had a nice house, husband, successful business that she sold, but she wanted to work for the company and still remain to being a part of the company. She explained how, like, everything became overwhelming because it was her actually still running and managing the company, right? Even though she had sold it, to my understanding, if I remember correctly. And it was a lot. And I asked her, I said, so why don't you just part ways? Why don't you just part ways and take a break? And she said, well, she felt like if she walked away, that many people depended on her, and if she took a break, then things wouldn't go well. Things would fall apart. It's like it became where the company was all that mattered. And maybe for her, she didn't feel like she wanted to let people down. And she was willing to pay the price of losing her way, losing herself, where she had thoughts of suicide, had thoughts of, just not wanting to be around, and taking medication. It's pretty sad, it's pretty sad. But again, so many different people I spoke to, and young, like feeling like they're in their 20s and they feel like they should have more accomplished than they should. I'm like, what? You're only 22. Like, how do you feel that way? So is this from society? Is this from uh, you know, society and what they're saying that what life should look like at 22, at 24? I don't know. I'm asking. I can't answer that one. Like, where is this stemming from? Where is this idea of feeling like you have to have it all at 22, 20, like 25, even 30? Like, where is that coming from? Right? So it has to be something where I don't know if it's something from family, maybe not wanting to let family down, maybe not, maybe too much of watching certain things on television, right? Telling a vision. Everything on TV is not real, guys. For you younger folks, if you are listening, and even to older folks, everything is not real. Okay. A lot of things that we see may appear real, but they're just an illusion and it's just TV. Okay. So materialism can lead to a disconnect from spiritual values and your practices, right? Materialism can lead to that. Um, because but we need to find, the thing is we need to find a balance. So how can we integrate materialism and spiritual well-being, right? So you can have a balance, right? You can have a balance. And so we can find that balance by, yes, we can sure definitely still work towards goals and having things. Maybe your dream is owning a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom house. I don't know. Maybe that's your dream that you would like to have and accomplish. And so there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to be the dream killer or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with having goals and dreams and aspirations, but we need to set things in place and making sure that self-care and our own spirituality is taken care of, right? And learning to be happy within, learning to have that happiness within first, loving ourselves, right? This is so important. Learning to be happy within our own skin and with the simple things and the basic things that we do have now. And that is by expressing gratitude. That is by expressing gratitude every day for the simple things that we do have, right? For the simple things that we do have, and still setting goals for what we need to do, having a plan in place, and also taking action into what we want. Okay? Practicing things like your own self-care, your own wellness, having me time, taking a moment, maybe each night when the kids are in bed, to just have a moment of me time where you just relax and do whatever it is that you like to do for yourself, right? Maybe it's reading a book, maybe it's whatever it is that you want to do, setting time for yourself, being more mindful, practicing mindfulness, becoming more aware of your thoughts, becoming more aware, being more in tune with our body, listening to our bodies, right? Because sometimes we don't pay attention to the signs that our bodies is sending us, right? That body intuition, paying attention to that, being more aware, being more present, right? Being more present, learning to accept today, right? And focus on today, the present moment of now, rather than focusing on the things of the past and things on the future. Now we know that finances can be a big stressor for many people. Finances can be a big stressor, right? And maybe you're living just right at the point of just making it, just being able to make it. Maybe you need extra funds. Maybe you don't make enough, right? So this is where we need to say, where we need to do an assessment. That's why it's okay to do assessments, right? Just like you do spring cleaning, just like you go for your yearly checkup, right? To make sure that everything is okay. You should be doing that if you haven't done so, right? We need to be also reflecting on, okay, where am I at? Where am I at financially? Going over your budget. Where can I cut costs? What needs improving, and working towards that goal, right? And making sure you are maintaining um, your credit, because you know that your credit is your buying power, right? Especially if you want to have a business or to be able to make a purchase on things, right? You should not be making purchases that, if you're large purchases, if you know that you're not able to pay it back, right? I can go on. This is a totally different topic, but I'm just I'm just giving you little tidbits, right, on things what you need that you can do, right? So we need to find that balance. We need to find that balance. And practicing gratitude is a great way, mindfulness, right? Being out in nature, getting connected, right? Being out in nature, right? And being present. These are the key things that you can do to help you. And if you're someone who battles with anxiety and depression, take simple baby steps. And definitely if you are feeling like suicidal, there are numbers for that for you to reach out to, right? There's numbers. I can't tell you what to feel and how to feel, but I would say this: there's a better way. There's a better way. And there is help and there is support. There is help and there is support. And don't be caught up in the material things of what we see that's presented on social media and in TV, right? Let us not be fooled, right? Let us not be fooled, because materialism is a distraction. And what did the quote say? I want to go back to that quote because I think you mentioned something. Materialism is the only form of distraction from true bliss. I love this, by Douglas Horton. Materialism is the only form of distraction from true bliss. So true bliss does not come from owning material things and possessions. True bliss, true happiness comes from the inner works, finding that happiness within, finding that inner peace within. What will give you inner peace? What will give you inner joy, right? Starting by loving yourself, right? And if you already do, then that's great. Starting by loving yourself, right? And expressing your talents and gifts and sharing it with the world, right? That is what I have for you today. And I think that is about all. I think I covered pretty much it, right? So today I'd like for you to reflect on your own lives and your own priorities, on what you can do, right? Now, I gave you some ideas already, but how important is materialism to you over your spiritual wellness, right? How important is that to you? And what can you do to find true inner bliss? What makes you happy, right? That is all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And until next time, bye for now. Stay healthy, stay well, stay safe.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Health Coach for Women with Marsha Roopchand-Walker. If you've enjoyed this episode, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.